The Republican tax plan that passed at the end of 2017 was a rare legislative victory for President Trump. But it is likely it will undermine Trump's other major promise, which is to cut the U.S. trade deficit. The GOP's tax law is virtually certain to widen the budget deficit and increase the current account deficit, which is what happened following Ronald Reagan's tax cuts of 1981 to 83 and George W. Bush's tax cuts of 2001 and 2003. 4 different ways of thinking about the problem all give the same basic answer. Trade deficits will worsen. Number 1, a simple model predicts that a tax cut boosts income and spending. The recipients of that spending will spend some of the additional income on foreign goods, boosting imports and worsening the trade balance. Number 2, what about when the economy is at full capacity, as the United States is now? The increased spending goes entirely into the current account in that case. The reason is when output is constrained, the increased demand tends to lead to inflation. Higher prices for U.S. products will reinforce domestic consumers' incentive to buy foreign goods while reducing external demand for U.S. exports. The result will be a larger trade deficit. All right, well, number 3 is Trump also promised a burst of investment, and the productivity growth will rise in the future following the tax bill. This, too, will lead to a widening of the trade deficit. Number 4, the White House is counting on a lower corporate tax rate to attract foreign investment, a capital inflow, which will be even larger if the U.S. Federal Reserve continues to respond to increases in demand by raising interest rates. That'll drive up the value of the U.S. dollar, undermining international price competitiveness of U.S. exports. Capital inflow will worsen the trade balance further. So, 4 approaches, same answer, the deficits will worsen. That's the actual deficits. It is possible that the reported trade deficit will narrow even as the true trade deficit widens. The reason is tax-motivated profit shifting by U.S. multinational corporations that has long made America's trade balance appear worse than it really is will now diminish. But there's a difference between the reported balance and the reality. In short, any narrowing of the trade deficit would be illusory, and the current account balance will worsen both in reality and as reported. So no matter how you look at it, whichever model you use, the Republican tax cut will widen the U.S. budget deficit and the current account deficit. It's the twin deficits which we had in the early 1980s all over again. But it's not morning in America.